Okay, here's just a quick introduction video of the new Tegu cages. You can actually see one of the Tegus out right now. Her name is Blush. There she is. I put her in late last night after I got finished, and she is getting used to the cage. It has these cool latches right here. Latches swivel open. The cages swing up, and they have lots of ground space with this design actually. Yeah, taking a bath, huh? She's big. I wanted to get her like a nice big water bowl she could swim in. I put it up on top of the hide because they normally like bask all over the place, so they don't need the hide for basking. They could bask anywhere, and then by putting the water on top of the hide, it just allows more like foot space over here. So the design of this cage actually wound up being pretty big. It is actually, so the actual dimensions that they have to move around in there is 45 inches wide by, let's see, 8 feet minus 3 inches, so by 93 inches long. So 45 inches wide by 93 inches long, they actually have to move around in there. So it's a decent amount of space. It's more than this cage because this design subtracts 3 inches off of that side for the frame and 3 inches off the other side for the frame. So this design subtracts 6 inches from both the width and the length if you make it 4x8. This design, if you make it 4x8, only subtracts 3 inches off the width and off the length because you're only using this board, which is 1.5 inches thick. So this was the design that my dad and I came up with, and he definitely helped me put together. This pole is just holding up our yard lights that normally wouldn't be there. We're gonna put the other doors on as time goes on because we ran out of time and it wound up taking a lot longer than expected. But that is it, a couple hinges. With this design, the middle support board sits flat with the door frame, and so you just put the hinges that way and it just swivels up. Pretty cool. This latch right here, more or less, is just for maybe so that things don't get in. The most amount of space an animal could ever push up is that right there, so that's about 1 inch, which is a decent amount of space, and this is even more, that's like 1.5 inches. So I could always put a latch here and a latch here to limit the amount that they're able to push the corners up. But I gotta tell you, this door is pretty heavy, even if they got the leverage to push up. And with the design of the cage on the inside, as you can see, the walls run high. I don't think there's going to be any way that the animal is able to get the leverage necessary to push the cage up. So let's take a look at Blush a little bit without the screen mesh. Hi honey, you swimming in your water bowl? Did you sleep in here all night, or did you go into your hide? So she is a high white female produced by Laura Roberts and obtained by me from a popular breeder out here in Arizona who took good care of her for the first 3 years of her life, and now I've taken her under my care. Nice sweet girl. So she is awesome. That oh, let me show you this here too. So the design of this cage, first of all, these little blocks right here are support to tag these two together, and then you shoot one screw in to the frame diagonally after you put these in on all 4 corners. Shoot one of these in on all 4 corners just for extra stability. But this acts as 2 functions. Number one, it tags this frame board to this frame board with 2 screws, and number 2, it acts as a support right here. See, this one's actually off the ground, but one of the reasons is because that one over there is a little bit longer and it's holding the weight. I had a small issue with this door yesterday because sometimes with projects like this, you have to kind of play it by ear and work with things as they come. But the latch wouldn't close properly unless I pulled the door 1/8 of an inch more forward. And when I did that, it now pushed the back frame 1/8 of an inch more forward, and therefore, look at that, what is that? 1/8 of an inch, because this sits flush with this. Had that 1/8 of an inch not been something that happened, then this would be sitting on the ground. And what it did with that side, because this side is like 1/8 of an inch longer than that side, you have to measure each side when you make the door frame, because each side has slightly different angles, because this whole unit is sitting on the ground and it's slightly wobbled in certain directions. So what I had to do over there, it was actually long on that side. I took a handsaw real quick and cut it. And again, this is just holding up those lights right there. It's above the door level. Hi, sweetie. So she's just really enjoying her water. Hopefully she doesn't poop in it like the other TEGU'S that we have in that other cage. They love to poop in their water because that is going to be a heavy water bowl to dump. Now the reason I put so much water is, number one, I do want her able to swim, but the second main reason is we have these things out here in Arizona called pavement ants, and the pavement ants, they bite pretty good. Now I don't know if they would bother a reptile really, but this is like their area that they hang out in. Their nests are like all across this area. So if she started to get bit, I don't know if she would know to do this, but I wanted her to have a little bit of space to get away, number one, but also some water she could jump into, wash the ants off, number two. So this is great. I'm really enjoying watching her do this. I think she's getting close to shedding, I can kind of see, so the water is definitely going to help. She is enjoying herself. Isn't that right, Blush? Are you blushing? Nah, she's a proud girl. Yeah, so that's Blush. I will let her play around here. I'll let her get used to her new cage. And we will check in with her later, maybe give her some food. So one thing I noticed with the outside cages versus inside cages, the animals have a lot more space to run around, like that cage over there, and they will spend all day running around in the sun, and literally their metabolism increases by, I kid you not, like 3 or 4 times their metabolism increases. And so you give them the same amount of food that you gave them inside, but between the natural rays of the sun and just the amount that they move around out here, they are going to consume food and pass it right through their body like 4 times as fast. And so you're going to notice them slimming down a little bit more. And again, slim is not necessarily bad. You don't want like necrotic. I don't know if that's the right word. I don't think that's the right word. You don't want like super skinny, but at the same time, you don't, if you can avoid them getting like heavier than is necessary, that's good also. So with some good outside cage time and then running around, it'll keep them like nice and fit, All right, Blush, we'll say goodbye for now. Daddy's gotta go work, and I'll be back here to check on you later, okay? All right, guys, we just wanted to shoot you that update. Here's a picture of the cage one more time. We're putting doors on one by one as I need them, because it actually is a lot of work to put this thing together. And there's kind of a shot of how everything goes. They each have fresh mesh on the front, mesh on the top. They have wall dividers so they won't see each other. And also it was just very economical and practical to build it that way. And there you go again. There's another quick shot. See her? Just for a size reference, she's like 3 feet long and like 10, 15 pounds. She's a big girl, and look how much space she has. Oh, by the way, this cage is 36 inches tall. see how much sun these cages get. This is just early morning, 7 o'clock. They'll get even more as the day goes on. And that's mesh on the bottom too, so they can't dig out. So if you have questions or want to know how to build this build this type of cage, Rose City Reptiles built something similar, and he has 2 videos of it, one for juveniles and one for adults, and it kind of shows a good idea of how to build something like this. And then I kind of made it my own a little bit by using mesh instead of putting planks of wood there, but some people put planks of wood where I put that mesh. So there she is. Hi, Blush. I'll say hi to her one more time. She is not as skittish as the younger Tegus I have. She'll hold her ground a little bit more and do what she wants. The other Tegus, they would have shot into that hiding spot by now after seeing me. See, she's gonna slowly go in there anyway. I just put her in here last night. She's getting used to it, so. And this substrate is the same substrate I've been using inside and outside. It is 1 part sand, 1 part organic topsoil with no fertilizer, 1 part organic peat moss with no fertilizer or any added chemicals. You could get those all at Home Depot. Just look for the organic versions with no fertilizer or chemicals added. Play sand, topsoil, peat moss, 1 scoop to 1 scoop to 1 scoop, and it creates this nice soil that has some thickness and density to it because the sand particles bond with the soil particles, and the soil creates a lot of humidity, and the sand just creates like a lot of structure, stability, material. So, all right, guys. Well, more to come, and I'll show you that in the future. Peace for now.